Hi everyone, welcome again to my English channel presented by أحمد سيار. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. مرحبا بكم في قناة أحمد سيار لتعليم اللغة الإنجليزية لفائدة تلاميذ السنة الثانية بكالوريا والجدع مشترك وكذلك السنة الأولى بكالوريا. This course is intended to second year bac students working with Ticket to English 2 unit number 4, and today we are going to move to sustainable development. So this is the picture. هذا هو رقم الوحدة والصورة ديال الوحدة رقم 4 عنوانها sustainable development أو التنمية المستدامة اللي غادي اليوم نحاول ما أمكن أننا نطرقوا لها. Alright, let's move on now. So the content in this video, we are going to study vocabulary and listening. So let's start now. Expand your vocabulary. Alright, categorize the phrases in the box below into 3 sets as shown in the diagram. مطلوب منكم أنكم تستعملوا ديك الكلمات اللي عندكم في ديك الجدول تحت في الخانات الثلاث اللي عندكم هنايا. social issues قضايا اجتماعية, economic issues قضايا اقتصادية, and environment issues قضايا بيئية. Alright, let's start now. Start with healthcare and raw materials and climate change. Okay, so let's move on now. Water pollution. Social justice is going to be with social issues. Climate micro enterprises is going to be with economic issues. Money investment. Forest preservation. Ecological crisis. Poverty elimination. Energy preservation is going to be with raw materials, going to be with economic. Recycling waste. Transport infrastructure, property rights, and equal pay for women. Yes, so here we have 3 issues. عندنا 3 القضايا وواحد مجموعة ديال الكلمات اللي عندهم علاقة بهذه القضايا. نبداو ب social issues. يعني health care الرعاية الصحية, social justice العدالة الاجتماعية, poverty elimination القضاء على الفقر, property rights حقوق الملكية, equal pay for women هي تكافؤ الأجور اللي خاص بالنساء. Now we move to economic issues. raw materials المواد الخام, micro enterprises مقاولات صغرى, money investment استثمار الأموال, energy preservation محافظة على الطاقة, transport infrastructure بنية التحتية الطرقية, climate change. Now we move to environment issues قضايا بيئية, climate change تغير المناخ, water pollution تلوث المياه, forest preservation حفاظ على الغابة, ecological crisis أزمات إيكولوجية ولا بيئية, recycling waste هنا كنتكلموا على إعادة تصنيع أو التدوير. Okay, let's move on now. Alright, words that look and sound alike are often confusing. عندنا واحد مجموعة الكلمات اللي كي تكتبوا تقريبا بحال they look alike متشابهين وكذلك متشابهين في النطق. Now we are going to try to match A and B with the definitions. Okay, نحاول ما أمكن كل كلمة نعطيوها التعريف ديالها. Capital and capital both are تقريبا متشابهين في النطق. So capital, parliament building, a building in which the United States Congress meets. هنا capital هو مقر ديال وزارة الدفاع الأمريكية, and capital هنايا money with which business is started. هنا كنتكلموا على رأس المال. Okay, استعملوا ديك الكلمة هذيك. My friend needs a big to invest in his new business. So what do you think? He needs a big what? طبعا الحال الجواب الصحيح غادي يكون a big capital. Alright. B, corroborate. So here corroborate, collaborate تقريبا تشابه في النطق. Let's see what do they mean. So collaborate means work together. Corroborate, confirm to be true, reinforce or certify, تأكيد هنا. So let's move to the sentence. With the help of the microcredits, rural women with each other and set up small enterprises. So here what is the correct word؟ الكلمة الصحيحة هنايا غتجي collaborate. okay, collaborate بمعنى تتشارك تعمل معا. good. C, affluent, affluent. So here let's see what do they mean. Affluent means wealthy. Affluent means stream flowing from a river or lake. يعني واحد المجرى مائي. Okay, the United States is one of the most nations in the world, yet some Americans live in extreme poverty. So here, which word is correct? Wealthy, اللي هو affluent. Alright. Now D, indigenous. So here, let's see what do they mean. Indigenous or indigent means poor, impoverished, فقير. Indigenous, here we mean native, belonging naturally to a place, originating from a place. هنا كنتكلموا على السكان الأصليين. Now let's see now the sentence. In order to sustain development in rural areas, the government should be concerned about people who lack basic necessities. So the correct word here is indigenous, السكان الأصليين. Alright, let's move now to E. Compulsory. Well, let's see what do they mean. Compulsive, uncontrollably urged to act, and compulsory, obligatory. Okay, so let's see now what do they mean in the sentence. Education in Morocco is to the age of 16. So the correct word is going to be compulsory. التعليم في المغرب هو إجباري, compulsory. Next one, assistance. Now assistance means help or aid. مساعدة, assistance, one who aids or helper. المساعد. Some Moroccan serious associations get from international NGOs. So they get what? Assistance. Alright, let's move on now. Allocations is pair of words that frequently occur together. الكلمات اللي كيمشيو دائما مع بعض. Now let's see here. Look carefully at these words related to sustainable development and make 4 collocations. So الكلمات عندهم علاقة بطبيعة الحال بالمحور ديال sustainable development. غادي نشوفوا المعامل اللي كيمشيو ونستعملوهم في الجملة. Let's start now. Civil society, non-governmental organization, sustainable development, renewable energies, urban areas. Okay, civil society هو المجتمع المدني. Non-governmental organizations الجمعيات الغير حكومية. Sustainable development شرحناها التنمية المستدامة أو الدائمة. Renewable energies الطاقات المتجددة. Urban societies urban areas كنتكلموا على المناطق اللي هي urban حضرية. Now fill in the blank with the collocations you have just made. غادي نملؤوا الفراغ في الكلمات في الجمل اللي عندنا بالكلمات اللي عملنا بطبيعة الحال collocations. الكلمات اللي هي مترابطة، يعني ماشي غنعملوا غير civil بوحدها، غنعملوا civil society. Alright, let's move on now. شوفوا الجمل هنايا. A is concerned with society's needs and well-being in the short, medium and long term. في المدى القصير short, medium متوسط and long term مدى القصير. Society's needs احتياجات المجتمع and well-being والرخاء ديال المجتمع. So we are talking here about what? هنا كنتكلموا بطبيعة الحال على sustainable development. Very good. Non-governmental, non-profit organizations and voluntary associations make up what is referred to as. هاد الجمعية هاد الشيء كامل اللي شفناه non-governmental الجمعيات الغير حكومية والغير نفعية والمتطوعة كنسميهم civil society، هما اللي يعطيونا ما يسمى بالمجتمع المدني. Alright, let's move to C. One way to sustain development is to link with rural ones. إذا عندنا هنا rural العكس ديال urban. Okay, قروي حضري. إذا الجواب الصحيح هو urban areas. Very good. Let's move to D now. Are forms of energy that are renewed as quickly as they are used. Example, solar energy, wind, etc. هنا كنتكلموا على energy بمعنى كنتكلموا على renewable energies. Very good. E. Greenpeace is a that works for environmental conservation and the preservation of endangered species. وهنا كنتكلموا على بطبيعة الحال non-governmental organization. Very good. Alright, let's move on now. again we are going to still stay in vocabulary. So an idiom is a phrase where the words together have a meaning that is different from the dictionary definition of the individual words. Example, I am all ears mean I am listening carefully. هنا كنتكلموا على الأمثلة. ملي كنقول I am all ears إلا جينا غنشرحوا المعنى ديالها اللفظي غادي يكونوا أنا كل آذان، ولكن المعنى المجازي هو المعنى ديالها المجازي حتى باللغة العربية كنقولوها كل آذان صاغية بمعنى أنا أنصت لك جيدا. Keep in touch means stay in contact. Okay. Now let's see. Choose the correct idiom from the list to replace expression in brackets. العبارة اللي هي بين قوسين نحاولوا نختاروا لها الكلمات العبارات المناسبة لها. What is happening? So which one do you think is correct? A, B or C? What's happening? Brad said as he is entering the room. إذن what's happening? مرادف ديالها هو what's up. Very good. What do you mean? مرادف ديالها what are you driving at? Very good. My friend without hurry to read the novel that I lent him. Without hurry بمعنى took his time without hurrying بدون تسرع. Alright, number 4. After 1 month of negotiations, an agreement was certain between our association and an entrepreneur to build a leisure center. Certain بمعنى in the bag. Very good. We read everything exactly before we sign the contract. So here exactly بمعنى to the letter. الحرف بمعنى ديالها قرينا داكشي حرفيا to the letter. Very good. Let's move on now. Listening. Alright. A sustainable development approach. Yes. غنشوفوا واحد المبدأ ديال التقاربي ديال التنمية المستدامة. In small groups, answer these questions. What ways can you suggest to improve the environment? That's one question. What ways can you suggest to improve the environment? شنو هي الطرق اللي ممكن تقترح باش تحسن البيئة. Let's see now. Encourage voluntary work. Yes, that may be my answer. هذا ممكن يكون جواب ديالي. To encourage voluntary work. Alright. B. What actions should the government take to ensure the well-being of people in rural and urban areas? ما هي التدابير التي يجب على الحكومة environment to take اتخاذها للحرص على well-being العيش الكريم ديال الناس in rural and urban areas. So what do you think? Provide good education and healthcare. Yes, هذا هو أهم شيء. Provide توفير تربية تعليم جيد ورعاية صحية. Very good. Next one. What urgent needs can you address to someone who is responsible for sustaining development in your area? ما هي الاحتياجات المستعجلة التي يمكن أن تطلبها to someone who is من شخص مسؤول عن التنمية المستدامة والمستدامة في منطقتك. So here I'm going just to ask him to keep in touch with the population and listen to them. صافي. مهم هو أنه يبقى على اتصال مع الناس ويسمع لهم. Very good. Number 2. Read this introductory paragraph and predict the question the journalist will ask. نشوفوا هاد المقدمة ونشوفوا هاد الصحفيين شو ممكن يطرحوا أسئلة على هاد السيد هدايا. Journalist number 1, journalist number 2, journalist number 3 and journalist number 4. شوفوا. Okpala from Kenya is the chief responsible of urban economy and finance branch at the United Headquarters. إذن هذا اللي في الصورة عندكم هذا هو Okpala من كينيا وهو اللي مسؤول على urban economy الاقتصاد الحضري and finance والتمويل branch القطاع الخاص بالتمويل باليونايتد نيشن headquarters بالمقر ديال اليونايتد نيشن بمعنى الأمم المتحدة. He is in a press conference. So this is a press conference in Marrakesh to answer journalist questions. شنو هما الأسئلة اللي ممكن يقولوا الصحفيين؟ طبعا الحال واحد مجموعة الأسئلة ممكن يقولوا الصحفيين ديك الساعة نشوفوها. Listen to the whole conference and check your predictions. Okay, نسمعوا ونحاولوا في نفس الوقت أننا نشوفوا الأسئلة اللي غادي يكونوا في نفس الوقت. You are going to do number 4. Listen again. find out who asked about شكون اللي طرح السؤال على the advantages of the rural-urban linkage approach, the significance of rural-urban linkage, the disadvantages of urbanization, the implementation of the approach. نشوفوا نسمعوا نشوفوا شكون الصحفيين اللي طرحوا الأسئلة على هاد المسألة على هاد المواضيع. Let's listen please.
Unit 4, Sustainable Development.
Could you please tell us what you mean by rural-urban linkage?
Well, rural-urban linkage generally refers to the growing mobility of people, services, and goods between city and countryside. This refers to people migrating or commuting and exchange of goods between the two areas.
Well, what are the benefits of this approach?
Of course, the approach has many benefits. Various countries and regions adopt the urban-rural linkage approach as a strategy for achieving faster development. For example, a development action in both areas plays a positive role in decreasing poverty. It also creates employment and develops income. Adequate investments certainly improve rural productivity. Moreover, it allows access to markets, jobs, and public services.
How can Morocco implement this approach?
A good question, in fact. First, we need to evaluate and understand the relationships between urban and rural areas in Morocco. Second, adequate infrastructure such as transportation, communication, energy, and basic services should be developed to facilitate mobility. Third, the government should recognize the potentials of rural-urban development at all levels, national, regional, and local. Both areas hold many capacities that are inactive. Efforts should be made to benefit from these capacities in the development process of both areas.
Can you tell me, what are the drawbacks of urbanizing rural areas?
Well, some people don't think that there are drawbacks. I personally think that urbanizing rural areas is not all positive. Cities and their metropolitan extensions absorb productive agricultural land, exploit water resources, and pollute the rural environment. Besides, cities rarely expand and build up effectively.
Alright, so let's see now. واحد مجموعة ديال الكلمات مهمين في هاد listening. So who asked the first question? So journalist number 2 طرح السؤال the advantages. ولاحظوا لا معنى ديال advantage هو إيجابية of the rural-urban linkage, الربط ما بين الحضري والقروي. approach معنى ديالها هي المقاربة. إذا الأمم المتحدة هنايا كتفكر على واحد المقاربة ديال الربط ما بين الحضري والقروي للتنمية ديال المناطق. So the advantages قلنا هي الإيجابيات. Journalist number 1 asked the second question. The significance معنى ديال هذا الربط of rural and urban linkage ما معناه. Next one, journalist number 4 asked about the disadvantages of urbanization. ملي كتكلموا على disadvantages انتبهوا مزيان راه هي معنى ديال drawbacks. لاحظوا هذه الكلمة drawbacks بمعنى disadvantages بمعنى السلبيات. drawbacks انتبهوا مزيان drawbacks سلبيات of urbanization ديال التمدن. urbanization بمعنى الاكتساح المدن على القرى. the disadvantages. And journalist number 3 asked the question the implementation of the approach كيفية تطبيق هذه المقاربة هذه. implementation بمعنى هو تنفيذ أو تطبيق. Alright, now let's listen again and take note. نحاولوا نسمعوا دابا ونحاولوا نشوفوا ناخذوا ملاحظات بخصوص ديك رقم 5. Listen again, take notes to fill in the chart باش نعمروا ديك الجداول اللي عندنا. First one, meaning of rural-urban linkage. شنو هو المعنى ديال rural-urban linkage اللي كاين في الحوار. Number 2, benefits. ما هي إيجابيات؟ benefits هي advantages of rural-urban linkage approach ديال المقاربة ديال الربط ما بين ما هو قروي وحضري. Now Number 3 how to implement كيف يمكن تنفيذ ذلك. and number 4 the drawbacks ما هي سلبيات ديال urbanization of urbanizing rural areas يعني سلبيات ديال تمدين أو لا أننا نرجعوا المناطق القروية نرجعوهم حضرية. سمعوا مزيان وحاولوا يعطيوني أفكار اللي هي جات خاصة بهذه المعاني هذا ولا بهذه الجداول. Let's listen please.
Unit 4 Sustainable Development.
Could you please tell us what you mean by rural-urban linkage?
Well, rural-urban linkage generally refers to the growing mobility of people, services, and goods between city and countryside. This refers to people migrating or commuting and exchange of goods between the two areas.
Well, what are the benefits of this approach?
Of course, the approach has many benefits. Various countries and regions adopt the urban-rural linkage approach as a strategy for achieving faster development. For example, a development action in both areas plays a positive role in decreasing poverty. It also creates employment and develops income. Adequate investments certainly improve rural productivity. Moreover, it allows access to markets, jobs, and public services.
How can Morocco implement this approach?
A good question, in fact. First, we need to evaluate and understand the relationships between urban and rural areas in Morocco. Second, adequate infrastructure such as transportation, communication, energy, and basic services should be developed to facilitate mobility. Third, the government should recognize the potentials of rural-urban development at all levels, national, regional, and local. Both areas hold many capacities that are inactive. Efforts should be made to benefit from these capacities in the development process of both areas.
Can you tell me, what are the drawbacks of urbanizing rural areas?
Well, some people don't think that there are drawbacks. I personally think that urbanizing rural areas is not all positive. Cities and their metropolitan extensions absorb productive agricultural land, exploit water resources, and pollute the rural environment. Besides, cities rarely expand and build up effectively.
Alright, so now let's see if you got some ideas or not. So, meaning of rural-urban linkage. في الحوار شنو المعنى ديال rural and urban linkage. Okay, so حسب ما قال refers to the growing mobility of people, services and goods between city and countryside. هذا هو المعنى ديال الربط ما بين ما هو قروي وحضري. refers to the growing mobility هي الحركية المتزايدة of people للناس, services الخدمات and goods والسلع between city and countryside ما بين القرية وما بين المدينة. Very good. Now let's see the benefits of rural-urban linkage. Very good. Benefits هي هذه على حسب ما جاء في الحوار. Achieve faster development الوصول إلى تطور أسرع. Decrease poverty نقص من الفقر. Create employment خلق فرص للشغل. Develop and improve rural productivity بمعنى تطوير وتحسين الإنتاجية الإنتاج في العالم القروي. Allow access to markets هنايا السماح بالولوج إلى الأسواق والمهن والخدمات الاجتماعية. Alright, let's see now how to implement it. كيفاش ممكن نطبقوا هذه المقاربة هذه. Evaluate and understand the relationship between urban and rural areas. أول شيء هو تقييم وفهم العلاقة ما بين الحضري والمناطق الحضرية والقروية. Then develop adequate infrastructures من بعد نطوروا البنية التحتية الملائمة. And then recognize the potentials of rural urban development at all levels من بعد التعرف على المؤهلات ديال التطور التنمية في rural and urban areas في هذه المناطق هذه. Next one, drawbacks. نشوفوا دابا السلبيات drawbacks. Cities and their metropolitan extensions observe productive agricultural land. إذا هنا الأول سلبية هي أن المدن كتكتسح هاد الأراضي وكتنقص الإنتاجية ديال الزراعة land exploit water وكذلك كتزيد تستغل في الماء مصادر المياه and pollute the rural environment وكذلك كتلوث المناطق القروية كتلوث البيئة القروية لأن المدن تكتسح القرى. Next one, cities rarely expand and build up efficiently وخصوصا وأن المدن في التوسع ديالها كاين واحد التوسع غير عقلاني اوكي ماشي بطريقة فعالة. هذا هو الفرق يعني توسع عشوائي مما يضر إلى البيئة والطبيعة. Very good. Listen to the whole conference and jot down word synonyms. نحاولوا نشوفوا شنو المعنى ديال هذه الكلمات اللي جاو في النص في الحوار. More and more. Increasingly. Without doubt. بدون شك. Of course. Suitable. Adequate. إذن هذا هو المرادف ديال هذه الكلمات اللي جا في هذا listening. Alright, so thank you very much for watching unit number 4. This is the end of vocabulary and listening presented by Ahmed Sayar. See you later, and before you leave, of course, like, share, follow and subscribe. Thank you very much for being here. See you in the next video. Thank you very much.